describe that movie, um, that movie to me, it's when it was good, it was great, and when it was bad, Russell Crowe was singing.
Hey, Upper East Siders and all you scandal-loving listeners out there. You just tuned into the Non-Judging Breakfast Pod, where the coffee is strong, the waffles are fresh, and the gossip is hotter than ever. I'm Leif, your seasoned Gossip Girl veteran.
And I'm Steve, your newbie, your greenhorn, your... I don't know, Leaf, what's the word for the new kid on the block in Gossip Girl?
I think they would label you as a project, girls who have the potential to be a Blairite.
Well, then dress me in an Eleanor Waldorf original, and let's get started.
Sounds good.
So, folks, here's the deal. Leaf has been living and breathing Gossip Girl since the beginning, and I am watching for the very first time. Together, we're your dynamic duo, and we're going to be dissecting scene by scene to go through all of the romance, the drama, and the sometimes questionable fashion choices of this iconic 2007 TV show.
That's right. Each week we'll break down the latest schemes, secret hookups, and couture catastrophes. And trust me, there are plenty of them.
And because we are all about inclusivity here, there is always a seat for you at the non-judging breakfast table, whether you are a newbie like me or an old veteran like Leaf. Go ahead and grab your coffee or pour a mimosa if it's one of those kind of mornings, and let's get ready to dish on the gossip.
All right, let's go ahead and jump right in. Today we're going to be talking about Season 1, Episode 4, Bad News Blair. And Steve, do you know what that is referencing?
Oh boy, do I mean, I grew up on the Bad News Bears, right? Like, I that was like an iconic...
Keanu Reeves, right?
I'm sorry, folks. We're going to have to call this off.
No, of course we are talking
you
about...
mean the Billy Bob Thornton movie?
Of course we were talking about the 1976 movie starring Walter Matthau.
Oh my gosh, yeah. It was, it was one of those movies of the childhood. And like, because it was also like every kid playing Little League felt like they were in some way, shape, or form on the Bad News Bears,
Mm-hmm.
Like, because we all thought we were playing like Mike Schmidt, but we were really playing like a bunch of kids playing Little League, you know? And I remember like that movie just really resonating with me as a kid because of that. And like, and granted, there was absolutely no eye batting in my house at the racism in the movie or the other like hugely problematic moments, which also kind of, that was very much a part of my upbringing,
Yeah. This episode was directed by Patrick Norris. He's a veteran TV director, done a lot of stuff, but he is specifically a king of the teen drama genre. You got My So-Called Life, Dawson's Creek, Party of Five, The O.C., Roswell, Chuck, The Vampire Diaries, Heart of Dixie, Greek, Pretty Little Liars. And if you notice, several Josh Schwartz shows on there. Pretty
Yeah.
much every Josh Schwartz show he's been on
Yeah,
as a director.
yeah. They seem to work together.
Yes. He is one of his Josh Schwartz's go-to guys.
Do we know how many episodes he has done of the show?
I can look it up. Did 8 episodes of Gossip Girl.
8 episodes of Gossip Girl. Okay.
Out of a little over 100, so.
Yeah.
Anyways, this...
About 8%.
Yeah. Story by Josh Safran. Interesting because he will later become the showrunner for Gossip Girl.
And it's also funny because I feel like, is this the first time that we have seen the story by not credited to the author of the novels?
No, this is just the first time I stopped listing that.
Oh, okay, all right.
That's just what it has on like IMDb. But I realized like that's not really that they're just listing the producers and like other people.
You're right.
This is
she's listed as a creator too, right?
Yes, yeah. Cecily von Zeisgar. So Cecily, Josh Schwartz, Stephanie Savage, executive producers. But if you watch the opening credits, this episode shows written by Josh Safran.
Right.
All right, we'll go ahead and jump right into Act 1. Blair is dreaming she is Audrey Hepburn in Breakfast at Tiffany's, except she is on the outside looking in at Serena. Moon River plays.
This is my dream. So not anymore. It's so great. Like, it's just so, I love that clearly she has this fear like, I've made some sort of white flag gesture and now Serena and I are kind of working stuff out.
And she's just going to take everything from me.
Yeah, but now it's just going to go right back to how it used to be.
Yep. And we see Blair awaken in the penthouse to the sound of Serena talking with Eleanor. Eleanor is extremely undermining towards Blair, but fawning over Serena.
Yeah, like, it's weird. Like, you're being weird about it. And this is the first time that we've seen new mom, right?
Yes, this is the first introduction to Margaret Collins as Eleanor Waldorf.
Okay, right. And I don't think that I actually even noticed before because it's been 2 episodes.
Yeah, she's missing episode 2 and 3.
Yeah. It's like it feels like second Becky almost, only like less. Only like not. She got second Becky'd only on her first episode.
Yes,
but you're right. Like, I feel like she really has the bite that this character needs.
Well, so I have actually gone back and read, and the reason why she was replaced was because the other actress looked too young.
Yeah. She really did, and you already have Rufus,
and Lily's also very young looking.
Yeah, and Lily's pretty young looking too. So
yeah.
Anyways,
we got Chuck and Nate are at Chuck's suite again, hiding valuable objects before a party. Chuck is the party planner, and everyone is forced to follow his plans. We are first introduced to Carter Bazin, played by Sebastian Stan.
Yeah. Where do I know this guy from? I know
really?
I recognize him. Is he from...
Think Metal Arm?
What's it called? Arrow? Or...
Bigger? Much bigger?
Bigger. Metal Arm. Oh! He's Bucky! Holy shit! I just spent that whole episode like, why do I know this guy? Where do I know him from? Oh boy.
It's fine. Sorry. We're good.
Where do I know him from? Why do I know this guy?
Yes, he plays Bucky Barnes and many other things. This was before he hit it really big. He actually is a recurring character through several seasons. I won't spoil too much. But he kind of started to fade from the show about when he got the role in that version of Les Mis with Hugh Jackman.
Oh yeah, I described that movie. Um, that movie to me, it's when it was good, it was great, and when it was bad, Russell Crowe was singing.
Yes,
That
was
was
an
my
interesting
feeling.
choice.
That movie, that play. First of all, I was promised that movie since I first heard the soundtrack in when I was a kid, and I saw that show. That was a birthday present for me when it came to Philadelphia on its first tour.
Wow.
Like my dad took me to see Les Mis for my birthday, and it was amazing. And then I went again when I was in high school. A friend of mine, it was where my love for theater came from, and like my love for acting and being on stage, and love for music and music. I don't even love musicals, but I love that musical. Um, and so, and I remember just they for years teased that movie, and then we got the fucking Liam Neeson movie that was like, really, this is what you're like? Oh, a happy ending. Oh, great, this is the Les Mis I knew. Like, if it would have just been a fucking story, I would have been okay with it. But goddamn, did they fucking tank that movie?
Yeah.
So then, when they finally give me that musical, they give me fucking Russell Crowe, who I'm not criticizing the guy as an actor, but I'm gonna criticize him as a singer when you're singing some of my favorite fucking songs in musical theater. Stars is possibly my favorite song throughout all of, it's above Somewhere Over the Rainbow. It's above fucking There's a Place for Us. It's above fucking, never heard them singing Till There Was You. Like it is probably my all-time fucking any fucking.
Yeah, there's definitely some questionable casting.
Yeah.
So
sorry. I'm back.
Serena and Blair are walking down the street, and two random men leer at Serena, and Blair is jealous. This leads to a conversation about how Blair's mother favors Serena.
Yeah, I mean, and it's like, no. It's like we all just saw what we saw.
Yeah.
Like she was fawning over it. She didn't wake Blair up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Serena sees Dan, and they flirt until Blair comes out and insults Dan's choice of sandwich, and then they continue to flirt and make loose plans to meet up in the future.
There's one thing I want to address from the previous scene too that I forgot to mention, which was Eleanor telling Blair what to eat.
Yes.
Eleanor very specifically being like, "Oh well, not the yogurt. The fruit has less fat in it. I lost 2 pounds while you were gone."
She says not the she's going for the croissant. Instead of tucking into that, why don't you try the low fat yogurt?
That's what it is. Yeah, and when she turns to her like that, like I felt the dagger go into my heart when she said that, and then
It's
Blair's
rough.
response. I lost 2 pounds while you were away. Twisted the knife. It was heart-wrenching. It just really that was the most sympathy I think I've felt for Blair since her last interaction with her mom.
Yeah. They're definitely starting to give Blair some more characterization other than just the evil bitch.
Yeah,
basically.
yeah. She's being treated. You're yeah. It was, and
You're
also
getting layers.
just-
You're getting layers.
You're getting layers, and you're seeing the relationship that she has with food again, and that it's coming from her mom having her own projections onto her kid,
Which kind of makes you think she probably would have wanted that pork sandwich. 'Cause I know I kind of wanted that.
Oh yeah. Oh fuck yeah. Yeah, like
hot pork and roasted cheese, melted cheese.
Yeah, and there's Serena, and her mom doesn't say anything to Serena, which is also really kind of like.
And you see, Serena feels bad about it too.
Yeah.
She immediately puts the bread down.
Yeah, and it's like, you see that Serena gets it, and Serena is the possibly the only one who is really fully aware of the dynamic with their own mom.
Yeah.
That she's very aware of her relationship with her mom because there isn't one there, but I think that it gives her a little more perspective on everyone else's relationships with their parents.
Correct. Yeah.
So sorry, I wanted to hit that point because I think it's really important to Blair's character.
Yes, I agree. Nate and Chuck are catching up with Carter back at the party. Nate is enamored. Chuck is bored.
Yeah. Yeah, and I it's funny because I make a note later on that there's not really a party of the week, but I guess there's kind of a starting off the party with the party of the week, and it is this big brogasm party. It seems.
Well, so the reason why this episode and these are the kind of the less good episodes is you got two. The stories are completely separate, so you kind of have two parties. You got the one is the Lost Weekend with Nate and Chuck.
Yeah.
And then you got the other party, which is the photo shoot.
Right. Okay.
Because you have Dan, Blair, and Serena all there.
I wouldn't really call that a party, though.
It's not a party, but it's an event that they all it's an event that they show up.
I'll give you that. It's just that, and I think that and we'll address it later.
And photo shoots are kind of like a party. I mean, there's music going on. You got food laid out.
My issue with it is that until now, major catharses happen, and all of those major climatic moments happen when all of our characters are together.
Well, that's what I'm saying. This is the first episode where you get the big split.
Yeah,
and those are not the episodes that I think are not as good.
Yeah, I am with you on that assumption.
Yeah. Anyway, so we get that. A little bit more. So we get that Carter is when Nate and Chuck were in 8th grade. Carter was a senior.
Yeah.
So we kind of all knew that guy in high school. That was still kind of coming around to parties and
and
so I totally get Chuck here.
Yeah. And at the same time, there are those people that are like, wow, that guy's so cool because he totally went out and did his own
thing. And it
it
is typically the jocks too.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, he was so good at the sport that I play.
Yeah.
I wish I could be like him.
Yeah.
Which Nate, that's totally Nate.
Yeah. Yeah.
On brand.
This guy is living Nate's dream.
Yeah.
I don't want my dad's fucking money. I just want to go and do my own thing and earn my own way. And also poor little Nate. Adorable Nate. You can't do that without your dad's money.
Sweetie. Sweetie.
Oh, sweetie. If you were to try to go off the grid and go backpacking across Europe, guess how you're flying there? Your daddy's money.
Yes.
You will do that if your daddy tells you can. Otherwise, what are you working at Starbucks and saving up?
Well, we see what Carter's up to later in the episode to try and get his money.
Right.
And then so we get back at the penthouse. Eleanor and her employees are discussing a fashion shoot while Blair and Serena admire the clothes. They are looking for a new model, and the plan is to use Blair. Blair seems nervous, but Serena is pushing really hard for Blair to have this.
Yeah, great moment for the two of them where Serena catches on. Blair's being timid about it, you don't even fully know if Blair's paying attention until Serena's like, yes, she'll do it. And then you realize Blair was paying attention. Well, again, the acting of Leighton Meester where you really buy that she is trying to ignore this thing that's about to happen for her. This thing that she really wants. And has never been able to get it because it always goes to Serena.
Yeah.
But and kudos to Eleanor for being like the best person to represent my brand is my daughter.
Yeah.
She looks amazing in these dresses. She is beautiful. My daughter is beautiful. She looks beautiful in these dresses. Who better to represent my brand? Kudos to Eleanor Waldorf. Once again, beautiful way to tie up that character arc. She is a good mom after all. I'm glad to see it. We can close the door on that she made the right decision. Thank you.
Yes. Blair is in her room discussing the fashion shoot with her friends, and Dan calls Serena, but Blair answers the phone. Once Serena gets on the phone, Dan and Serena set a date for tonight.
Yeah, they're looking forward to getting together. Blair, you don't have to be like that, but like they finally do talk. They get their date arranged, and I'm sure that's going to go off without a hitch too.
Oh, of course.
Um,
Nothing could possibly go wrong.
Yeah, and yeah, and
we get Serena showing the girls how to do the pop.
oh yeah, that's right.
The hip hop.
They're all yeah, and I will be bringing this scene back up later when we talk about our fashion of the week,
Okay.
our favorite outfit of the week. Mine was actually in this scene.
Oh.
I'll reveal who.
Okay.
At the end.
Also, going back to that last scene, we actually got introduced to a new recurring character, Laurel, who is kind of like Eleanor's second in command.
Okay. I didn't really. Oh, okay, yeah. The woman who was helping organize the shoot. So she's
with the dark skin, the light hair, and
yeah,
and the glasses.
Yep, I know exactly who you're talking about.
Yep. Okay. So that she is a recurring character. She'll be back. And then so we get Rufus is talking with a beautiful art dealer at his gallery. Does Rufus also have a date for tonight?
Yeah. It sounds like he's at least got an appointment or something that he wants to look good for.
Yeah.
So that is interesting for him.
Our first introduction to Bex.
Yeah. Yeah. Who? That's not her scene yet, right? That's just him getting ready for it.
No, she's looking at the painting and and she says, "Hold it for me. I think the person I'm working for want it.
Yeah,
I'll be back."
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah. So we have that scene. And then the Lost Weekend continues out on the basketball court. Chuck and Carter nearly get into a fight. Carter leaves, but sets up plans with Nate for later.
Yeah, and that's where they're setting up the plans to play the poker game, right?
Yes, correct.
He's just kind of telling him about it.
Like, he's dropping hints.
With me.
Yeah. And we got Chuck in his basketball outfit. It was interesting to say the least.
Yeah.
What do you think about that outfit?
Yeah. I mean, it's Chuck being Chuck, really.
But just to reveal behind the fandom curtain, it is definitely one of the more iconic Chuck outfits. It's very talked about and mocked.
That's funny because I actually wasn't paying much attention to it.
It's like incredibly bad.
Yeah, that's funny. I'll have to look at that.
It's like it's like shorts and it's like a jersey type T-shirt, but like different colored crowns on it.
Oh.
And his hair is doing this weird, it's like weird shit going on with his hair. It's pretty bad.
Yep.
It's mocked pretty bad on the internet. So then let's see. That was that scene. We get to at the photo shoot. Blair is not impressing the photographer. Serena tries to encourage Blair to loosen up.
Yeah. Yeah. And you immediately see where this is going. And you see Serena is definitely walking up with the intent of, my friend is drowning. I hear them talking about it. And Blair having that wall up initially and being like, get out of here. Oh, I knew you were going to do this. I knew you were going to try something. She's no, I just want to help you out. And then when Blair looks over and sees them talking about her and turns back and is like, help me.
Yeah.
And she does. And they do have fun together.
Yeah.
And they do have chemistry. And it is a great shoot with the two of them. But you kind of see that Serena is just loving the camera, and the camera is loving her. And they all, and there's this consensus between the photographer, what's the assistant's name? Laurel. And the two of them both have the agreement that she looks fucking amazing in the dress, but she's not doing anything for the camera. And she's not, she is very flat in her affect and in her demeanor, and very nervous and very prim. Which again, you got to throw it to Leighton Meester that to just be able to portray that in when she doesn't have it's hard to do something that you're really good at. Sometimes it's really hard to do it badly. In fact, the best, it's like some of the best among the people are the ones who can do it badly, if that makes sense.
All right, so Serena calls Dan to cancel the date as he is already waiting in line at the movie theater. As he's already waiting in line, he leaves with a frustrated sigh.
Yeah. Yep. And she bails on him, and she bails on him for a photo shoot. And the thing is, she is being a good friend here. In fact, we actually I don't think we addressed the time that they bumped into each other earlier, and he was like, why are you guys hanging out? Like why are you doing this? And that was the other time that I was like, Blair, you don't have to be like this. Like why? Does she come up and it is immediately an asshole?
Dan was not privy to the under the bridge scene.
Right. But at the same time, Dan has done dick to Blair. Dan has done nothing but punch Chuck in the face for sexually assaulting his sister. That is the most that he has done to harm anybody else. So Blair coming up and just being a fucking asshole to Dan just for existing on the sidewalk is why?
I think he just they've already gone to school for 3 years, so I think he just and she's the queen of the school, he kind of knows that that's just Blair.
Yeah, but it's also at the same time, it's it is just Blair, but he's a nobody to her. So why my beef was never with you, Blair. Why are you you were upset with her and took it out on me? Why are you still taking it out with me if you guys are getting along?
Well, it's not. He's not taking out. It's not that. She's just classist.
Well, yeah, and that is very evident there too.
And that is the end of the first act. So we're gonna go ahead and take a break. All right, we are back for Act 2. It is nighttime in the city, and the art dealer arrives at Rufus's gallery. The art dealer, Bex, asks Rufus out to celebrate, but Rufus isn't ready yet despite living in a different zip code from his estranged wife.
Ex-wife. No. I know, but come on, dude. It's an awful long commute, she says. Dude.
That's not over yet. Give our man Rufus some credit.
I just have this I'm projecting because my first marriage ended by tearing the Band-Aid off one hair at a time for a year, and it's dude, Bex is
right there,
right here.
She's right here, right now.
You like her, she likes you. Get some coffee, brah.
Yeah, but
she's clearly more interested in you than your wife is.
Fair enough, but Rufus is a good guy, and he is still married technically, so he's not ready to cross that boundary.
Yeah, and I'm not privy to any of the conversations that the two of them had. I just figure that when you're living in different zip codes and not really talking to each other, that like I don't know, maybe I just feel like it's implied that you're allowed to date other people, but I guess I would have that conversation should I be in that.
Wasn't it like said that it was like an artist? She was doing art stuff or something? She was kind of like getting away just to do art or something.
Yeah, but it sounds like she's getting away to a place where she doesn't need to necessarily come back from.
Fair.
That's my impression. Is that like she's
Yeah,
yeah.
but still
And-
they haven't talked about it yet though. So.
Yeah, and the thing is that by the end of this episode, they do like the which not to jump ahead, but Dan's point of view is really also a lot of how I'm feeling towards Rufus's situation.
Oh yeah,
here.
and while I agree that that's probably the situation, at the same time, Rufus is a good guy.
Rufus is doing the right thing. He's a
can't-
good
yeah.
guy. I get that. And I feel for him. I feel for him.
So Nate and Chuck are arguing outside a pub. Chuck seems to like he loves the life set up for him, but Nate still wants out. Nate leaves the party and to potentially meet up with Carter for an underground poker game.
Yeah, and like Chuck makes some points to Nate that like kind of what I was saying earlier. You can't just go off and do your own thing. Like when you do that, you kind of close big doors, and you're just going to be on your own at that point.
Yeah.
Like if you go to that other college, you're doing it on fucking student loans and dorm food, and you're not living the life that you think you're living until you end up going to Dartmouth.
Well, he points out that Carter's just here. He's not, mooching off his parents. He's just mooching off us now.
Yeah, exactly. And he's still mooching off of somebody. It's just, yeah, and it's funny when Chuck Bass is the voice of reason, and when Chuck Bass is the one whose scumbag radar is going off, I want to listen. You know,
you gotta wonder what Carter's done in the past.
Yeah, and I don't even necessarily. I didn't even make that leap more than I just saw Chuck as just seeing this play out before. That it's not the first time that he's seen someone like Carter. That he's seen someone who's done something like this. Who threw it all away and ended up washed up and living off of their friends.
Yeah. Dan comes back to the loft and talks to Rufus about Serena missing the date and how her friends and world just seem completely alien to him. Rufus compares Serena to a girl he used to date.
Yeah.
I wonder who that could be.
Yeah, that. And first of all, I do love the line. I swam
for a while
until I drowned. Yeah. And if that isn't like every relationship in one way or another, like and I'm in a really amazing relationship with my wife, but I think that I feel like that imagery is very easy to understand, especially with certain relationships. There are those people that like you just want to try to keep up with them, and no matter what you're doing to try to keep up with them, you're never going to. And eventually, you're just gonna have to, you're gonna have to just let it go.
Yeah. And so we see Eleanor tucks Blair into bed. Blair feels approval from her mother, maybe for the first time in her life.
Yeah. Fantastic to have her mother's love. It is so nice that they were able to make these decisions together, and it is so great to see that they have developed this great resolution. Good job. Close the door.
And actually, back to the previous scene, I like the way Dan describes Blair. And Everything he hates about the Upper East Side distilled into one 95-pound, doe-eyed, bon mot tossing, label whoring package of girly evil.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, Dan's definitely a writer.
Yeah. He's very, very, very vivid, very imaginative, very good with words.
So skipping past the scene we just talked about, Serena calls Dan and invites Dan to the fashion shoot.
Yeah.
Are you looking for my sister?
Yeah, like why are you inviting me to this thing? And like no. In no way, shape, or form is that gonna sound like what is a fun day to me.
Yeah. But he agrees in the end. Yeah, she
because he can't say no.
Yeah,
to
she cuts him off. She basically hangs up the phone before he can say no.
Yeah. I'll buy you anything you want from craft services. Isn't craft services usually free? I'll see you at 8. Click.
And then so after that, we got at the back of the penthouse. Eleanor is discussing the photo shoot with the photographer. They decide to replace Blair with Serena. Blair's worst fears are coming true.
And if I remember correctly, is that where they just present her with the option? They didn't actually... Eleanor didn't broadcast her decision. They just tell her that...
And she kind of like... She nods at the end. Like the final shot is like her like...
acquiescing.
Yeah.
But like... So once again, we have the parent choosing money over their kid, too.
Again, so...
And
I feel conflicted about this because in this spot, I think this is the right choice. She's listening to the experts. What she shouldn't have done is put Blair in this position to begin with.
Yeah. And, well, I even get that because it was short notice and her rationale behind having Blair in there. But the other choice that you had was the two of them together were working through it and doing something and had some chemistry. She could have been involved. You know, there were other options. And like to then, and how the rest plays out, you know.
Well, so I don't know, how much this plays in, but if you remember, it was Serena that really pushed for Blair to, like, they were like kind of like thinking about it, and Serena's like, yes, do it.
Yeah. Serena was always behind Blair doing this.
But she's the one that like really pushed it to happen. Like,
yeah.
Like Eleanor was like on the fence, like considering it, and Serena's the one that pushed her into it.
Yeah, that is true.
And so that is the end of Act 2, and so we go into Act 3. Blair awakens for the photo shoot, clearly excited. Eleanor informs Blair she has been replaced, but she blames the photographer and fails to mention Serena has replaced her.
Yeah.
After Eleanor leaves, Blair leaves a voicemail for Serena to meet her at the shoot and crash it. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
That's not going to end well.
No, not at all. And it is like you're not being honest with your kid. And like obviously your kid is going to be mad about this. And obviously your kid's going to find out what you did. Like their pictures that you're using to advertise your company. You think she's not going to see what happened? You know, and so yeah, really shitty for Blair to wake up to, but yeah, so she's going to crash this photo shoot.
Mm-hmm. And then, so Lily returns the painting to Rufus's gallery. Apparently, Lily and Allison have beef, and Lily is the client of Beck's.
Yeah, fantastic. It's so good that, and like the whole argument is great. Like, how would she feel about this being on my wall? And like, the ex-girlfriend always has that certain place, There is that, like, we know that Rufus and Lily have their history, and then and now we're seeing that crosses into Rufus's ex or Rufus's wife.
So, like, what if Donald Trump liked our podcast? How would you feel about that? You don't have to answer.
I'd be like, why? What vibe are you getting from me? what reflecting do I need to do on me?
I can see him being a big fan of the show.
Yeah. Yeah.
Leering over all those young women.
Yeah. I could really see him being a fan of the show. That makes me that creeps me out.
So small spoiler, Ivanka Truck does make a cameo in season 4.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean,
But this is like before. This is like
this
pre.
is like The Apprentice.
Yeah, this is when they're famous, but they're not in the politics yet. They're still New York Democrats.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hanging out with the Clintons.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah. Anyways, sidetrack. So Chuck is back at his suite and discovered he has been robbed.
Yep. The baseball and was it a glove too?
Baseball, and it was just a really fancy watch.
A watch. Right. Stolen out of his.
Yeah. He locked it in the drawer.
Yeah.
But somehow someone still stole it.
Yeah.
And it was Babe Ruth's called shot ball.
Yeah. As a baseball fan,
That's got to be worth quite a bit.
Yeah, that's a beautiful piece of memorabilia, as just for the love of baseball and everything.
Yeah.
Although I love Daniel Tosh's take on Babe Ruth, that Babe Ruth was breaking records before black people could play the sport. So where's his asterisk?
True. I don't think he's the first one to make that joke, actually.
Oh, no, he's the person that I heard say
it. So Nate is playing poker with Carter. Carter really wants Nate to continue playing for some reason. I wonder why.
Yeah. He's really pressuring him to stay in the game. Where Nate was like, "This was fun. I had a good time." And then, and I think Nate realized
the adventure's just about to start, man.
Yeah. And I think Nate is realizing that something's not right.
Well, I don't think it's clicking yet. I don't think it's that's not this scene.
Well, he's he's uncomfortable. He's clearly uncomfortable.
Yeah, he's ready to go home. He's like, okay, I want some. It's the smart play is to leave while you're up.
Yeah. Nate is really bad with peer pressure.
Yeah.
Nate doesn't know how to handle.
No.
He only spoke up to his dad for the first time recently. So Nate doesn't know how to handle.
He's malleable.
Yeah. He doesn't know how to say no to his friends.
And I think Carter knew that.
Yeah.
And targeted Nate from the very beginning.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And then we see Blair shows up at the photo show and is devastated to see she was replaced by Serena. They have a huge argument, and Dan accidentally overhears the confrontation. More Moon River plays.
Mm-hmm. And how do you say yeah, your mom tricked me into replacing you? How fucking disgusting. She lies to her daughter and lies to her daughter's friend in a way that it's how do you where to what end? To what end are you lying? When do you not realize? How do you not realize that it's going to take one conversation?
So, but is Serena oblivious or is she willfully dumb?
The whole thing about the test shoots. They wanted to do some test shoots while we waited for you. It's a good reason to be up there, but I also think that Serena loves the attention despite wanting to get away from the attention. You know what I mean? She doesn't like what the attention has brought her, but also can't not have the attention.
Yeah. But, in all fairness, Serena does immediately confront Eleanor and she asks, why she didn't tell her the truth, and then quits.
Yeah, quits right then and there and walks off. Yeah,
and of course we get another scene of Dan not being recognized.
Yeah.
by Eleanor.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. But they hadn't met before though, had they?
No, they haven't met, but
Yeah.
still,
But yeah, just
it's
another
just
like,
funny though.
who are you? Yeah.
Who are you? What are you doing here?
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't know.
Yeah, because like there's like a bunch of people at the shoots. Like so it'd be plausible that she wouldn't recognize every person there,
Yeah.
but specifically him.
Right. So this guy stands out as being out of place.
Yes.
Like, so many people could easily sneak onto a photo shoot probably if they were dressed right, you know, but this guy does not belong.
Mm-hmm. And that is the end of Act 3, so we're going to go ahead and get into the epilogue. Back in the dressing room, Dan and Serena have a conversation. Dan, as usual, is quick to judge, but the scene ends with Dan staring dumbly at the wall after Serena explains what really happened before peacing out.
Yeah. Dan, let's have a conversation. Cuz Dan, you got to be on your chill a little bit. Cuz like you jump to conclusions way too quickly. Let people give you a conversation and then make your judgment. But dude, just chill a little
bit.
Thank you, Dan.
But so I gotta give props to Serena here. She is very confident in her body that she's able, at 16-year-old is able to just like change like right next to someone she has like a crush on.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
props to her for confidence.
Yeah, well, and it's almost all, it's that theater kid kind of, and modeling theater kid kind of
I
stuff.
guess so. Yeah.
And like, I remember being in high school when we didn't necessarily, we had, boys and girls areas to change, but there were many quick changes, many things like that it would just be, clothes flying everywhere to get that change done. And there was always this rule of like, we're not here to, check each other out. Like, this is business. We are getting changed. We are walking out there. You never saw this. So like, I can understand that confidence because she's probably been around that a lot of like, yep, I change when I need to change because this is how I've, this is just part of being in this kind of realm. But it does but that realm takes confidence too. Yeah.
Dan goes and sits next to Blair and they have a heartfelt moment. They bond over their shared parental abandonment issues.
Yeah, this is a fantastic scene. It's the first time that we actually hear Dan talk about his relationship with his mom. And his anger towards her, and how he doesn't like her very much right now, doesn't like her behavior right now, and feels abandoned by her and mistreated by her. And it's not the same thing that Blair is going through, but it is a similar thing that our moms aren't giving us what we need. And it's a great moment between the two of them where, Blair was so humbled in the previous episode that in this episode, once again, she just, she's able to have that kind of emotional connection with someone she doesn't like. When he walks in, it's like, oh, great,
But they both let their guard down in that scene, I think.
Yeah. They and it's a really great moment for both of them.
I agree. It's definitely the scene of the episode for me.
Yeah.
And then
I also, this whole time, Blair, we've talked about how Blair is always dressing for power. And this whole scene, I felt like she was muted. Her outfit was muted. She was wearing like that blue. It was very similar to what her mom was wearing. The pattern on it was similar to what her mom was wearing in black, but it was very muted and very.
The whole scene was actually very muted. The color was it was definitely washed out. The color.
Yeah, very much. Yeah, it's like a white hallway, and it was like it was red, white, and black. It was the
way where you can really tell is Penn Badgley's lips look like purple.
Yeah, Yeah, yeah.
Because it's definitely tinted.
Yeah, yeah, clearly.
So back at the poker game, Nate is clearly in over his head. Smooth brain Nate finally realizes that Carter set him up. Just when it seems Nate is about to lose more than his wallet, Chuck steps in to save the day.
Yeah, and so for the first time, Chuck, whose stock has been plummeting for 3 straight episodes, 3.5 straight episodes, because he was a dick throughout most of this one in the first half of it. Even when he was right in about being a dick. Like he still sucks throughout the entire thing, but then he comes in and I we have to point out that he did this for a bro. We didn't see him defend Blair. We don't know. He would. I don't know that he would stick his neck out for women, but he stuck his neck out for his friend, and he also was like, "Hey, you have my ball. You have my watch. You keep it. I don't call the cops. We're walking out of here." And like he gave again that piece of baseball memorabilia to just be like, "You have it. Keep it. Doesn't matter to me." Like I'll buy it back when you put it on auction. Like I'll get that ball back if I want it badly enough. I'm Chuck Bass. And you actually see Chuck Bass using his Chuck Bassian powers for the forces of friendship and not for evil destruction in his own penis.
Yeah. And so we get back at the photo shoot. They are scrambling to find Serena's replacement when Blair confronts her mother about choosing Serena.
Yeah, and she does come clean here, but it's like,
and then did you catch they try to give it back to her?
They tried to,
because they're scrambling to find.
Oh yeah, because Serena just quit. Yeah. Oh yeah, and then she's like, "No, fuck off." Yeah.
Which good for her.
Yeah. And it's sort of like that Nate moment from the week before that she like stands up to her mom and is like, "No, I'm not doing this," and in fact, no one's doing this because we're gonna steal all the clothes and do our own photo shoot around the city, which is also great.
Yeah. But at first, we actually see Dan finds Serena and brings her a peace offering from craft services. Good throwback to earlier.
Yeah.
They make plans for another date, and Blair shows some lukewarm approval for Dan. Quite the upgrade from earlier in the episode, though.
Yeah. She was a little bit nicer about it. Yeah. And I'm sure that a lot of that is that carryover from the earlier conversation that they had.
So he can date Serena, but we gotta fix your clothes up a little bit first.
Yeah. What's really funny is that when they stole the clothes and ran around doing their own.
Yeah, so that's the next scene.
Oh, is that the next scene?
Yeah.
Skip ahead.
Yeah. The next scene, which is the final scene of the episode, is Blair and Serena steal Eleanor's clothing and go off and have their own fashion shoot on the streets of NYC.
Yeah, and the thing is, if they give those pictures to their mom, like in that point in time, like that kind of shit, like 2007, that was Facebook was just starting out. Putting that shit on social media, putting those pictures out, that's branding.
Yeah.
Here's high fashion that you can wear every day. Look at my daughter out having fun with her beautiful friend.
The only issue is I felt like the dresses were not fitted to them.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just my lack of fashion knowledge, but it seemed like they were ill-fitting to me.
Yeah, I don't think personally. I don't think Eleanor Waldorf is a really great designer. I don't know shit about fashion. I don't know. I really don't. But I think Jenny is a better designer from
What have we seen from Jenny so far?
Haven't we? Didn't we? Oh, I guess she bought that dress.
Well, she didn't buy it. She said she's gonna. She was looking at a dress in the store and she's gonna copy it.
Because it looks better in black for the kiss and the lips party.
Yeah.
So her dress for the kiss and the lips party would have been.
Yes, but she was just copying someone else's design. But,
yeah. But still.
Yeah, definitely impressive.
A better eye.
Yeah.
A better eye than Eleanor Waldorf.
Yes. But that is the end of our episode. So let's take a quick break and then get into some segments.
Yeah.
All right, we are back for some segments. We're gonna do some episode grades. I think you went last week, so I will go first this time. I am gonna go ahead and give this one a B plus. Just because we had the split storylines, so that kind of takes away. But you do have some good scenes. So you got the great scene with Dan and Blair. So I'm definitely eager to see more of them. I think they're two of the best actors on the show. So I want to see more scenes with them, whether it's antagonistic or friendly. I think it can be good. Mm-hmm. So I think that scene in itself brings it up a bit. We get Blair's moment where she finally tells her mom to fuck off. So that's good. But yeah, again, it's dragged down by the fact that Nate and Chuck are just completely separate from everyone else, and Jenny is not used at all, really.
Yeah, Jenny and Eric aren't in this episode. Yeah, like they're not even mentioned. They're not in it. We don't see them. And you feel that. I feel like I'm giving this episode a generous B minus, and because it was kind of a C for me on my first watch through, but those moments with Dan and Blair and that and the Chuck Bass coming through, those things kind of boosted it. Some of the other like cinematic decision making and like the directing and the acting kind of boosted it a little bit. Storyline wise, it fell flat for me. We're gonna have a competition at a photo shoot, and we're gonna have a big bro weekend. And it really didn't leave a good place for Dan in the episode. You know, it didn't leave much room for him. We get a little bit of character development from Rufus and Lily. We don't see the captain at all. We don't see Chuck's dad. I don't think. We don't.
No.
Yeah. So the only real parent dynamic, because we don't even see Lily interact with Serena, which for the first time really starts to reinforce that they don't have a relationship. Because every other episode they've interacted, and Serena has tried to say that we don't, but now here we finally have them in their own worlds, independent of each other. But yeah, there was a lot of plot line stuff that fell flat for me. So I'm giving it a B minus.
All right. So moving on to Stock Watch. So for Stock Up, I have unfortunately Chuck. He came through in the end for his bro. I think Serena and Blair, just for the end scene, they get Stack Up. But that's, I think, it for me on Stock Up. How about you? Anyone?
So I felt like Dan and Blair's stock went up with that moment in the end. I feel like Serena's was kind of breaking even, no real movement. I also put Chuck in a breaking even category this week because before doing the right thing, he was still being Chuck. So I didn't actually have him going up, just breaking even. But Dan and Blair are both...
Dan and Blair up?
Dan and Blair both went up.
Okay.
I think everybody else kind of broke even in that episode.
So I hate to say it, Chuck, my least favorite character, goes up, and Dan, my favorite character, goes down.
Oh, you have Dan going down.
I mean, yeah, he has the great scene with Blair, but he was a dick to Serena.
He really was. He really was. She did stand him up, though.
I mean, she did, but I mean, she called him. I mean, things happen. I mean, the stuff happens. Mm-hmm. I mean, it sucks, but I mean, that's not what he was a dick to her about. I mean, Okay, if he wants to, kind of be a dick and blow her off after she stands him up, fine. But he was a dick for something he didn't really understand the
That
full
wasn't
story.
his place to be
And
mad
he didn't
about,
even
too.
have the full story either.
Yeah, he didn't have the full story, and he didn't have any position there. Like,
Yeah.
this isn't even your fight.
And Nate's stock goes down for being a fucking idiot.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, Nate's stock went down, and I think that's the first time for me that Nate's stock went down. But his his inability, and Nate's stock literally went down because he loses $200,000 because his trust fund is drained. Because guess who you need.
So, since you brought that up, what do you think's going on there?
Well, I mean, for one, I think that the story he's going to say is you're going to fall in line or you don't get anything. But knowing that he's a finance guy that is a nervous finance guy, I feel like that money is being invested in something that is a surefire guarantee that is really gonna that's gonna be the one that gets their family like on top.
Okay. So we'll see what happens.
At least I think that's what the captain thinks he's doing.
All right. So just to recap, so you have stock up Dan and Blair, and anyone else?
No, just Dan and Blair stock up.
And down Nate.
Nate, and if we're looking at parents, Eleanor. I mean, Eleanor is.
Yeah, actually, I'm gonna add her to mine. She's definitely down.
Yeah, she's awful. Yeah, the two of them are both down.
All right. So we're going into best outfit, and I'm actually gonna go outside the box on this one. I went with Laurel.
Oh.
Her outfit at the fashion shoot. She had like a black dress with tight at the waist with a black belt with like a nice big brass, not a brass buckle, but a black. It was like all black.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
She had all black outfit and including black glasses, black rim glasses.
Yeah, yeah.
And her hair was like tied back with a black like headband, or not a headband, but it's like a tie.
Yeah,
black tie.
Yeah. For me, it was Cotty's outfit when they were in that scene where they were all hanging out and she was teaching the pop and all that. She was wearing like this gray. I don't even know if it was pajamas or if it just looked like it looked like the border between like pajamas and like regular clothes. But it really caught my attention, especially because it was again being used as background almost, as set dressing in the way that she was portrayed in the scene. And
I'm not picturing it, but I'll definitely take a look when I go back and snap it for Instagram. I screenshot it.
Yeah, I really loved it.
All right, so that is it for this segment. We're going to go ahead and just get into some plugs. If you want to come follow me on Twitch, I review PA medical marijuana and play video games and chat with friends. So just come out and say hello. That's Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can find me at twitch.tv/Hot Capicola. You can also follow me on Instagram at Hot Capicola.
And you can come out to McGillen's on February 8th, and I will be the featured act at their open mic. And you can also, that is McGillen's in Center City. And also you can follow me at steve.marchion on Instagram. That is Marchion. Or Steve the Weed Wizard on TikTok. And you can also find my music on Spotify, iTunes, Amazon, YouTube, and pretty much any other streaming service.
You can also, if you want to follow the podcast, you can follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Non-Judging Breakfast Pod, and on the social media formerly known as Twitter at NJB Pod. We also have a Facebook community group. Just search for Non-Judging Breakfast Pod, and take a seat at the breakfast table with us.
Yeah, and if you have any questions for us, you can email us at nonjudgingbreakfastpod@gmail.com. It's the first time I actually got that right. And we will try to answer your questions here on the podcast. Also, if you like the show, we would really appreciate it if you like, follow, leave us a comment, leave us a review, and on Spotify or Apple or wherever you stream your podcasts, that could really help us with our discoverability.
And then join us in 2 weeks when we break down the Season 1, Episode 5, titled Daredevil.
I think I catch that one.
Until next time, you know you love us. XOXO.